If you're not wanting to watch the entire journey and you're only here for this part of the build, then jump to this time right here and let's get started. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the journey. So up here with the water buffalo, just doing some domestics. And as I was up here, I was like, man, I really need to cut some grass. So up here, you know, some of the grass and the weeds was a little bit long. So I just got back. I went and dumped some trash out of the truck, which is way down the road yonder ways. And so I was just checking in on the washing machine inside, and when I was looking at all this, I was like, man, I really need to get up here and cut this. So let's go fire up the old lawnmower. Not that one. That one's still broke. And then this happened. Alright, so I come over to the push mower to get it going, which actually I ran this into a stump when I was cutting the driveway last time, which I looked it over, nothing seems to be bent or whatever, so I was going to get it fired up, see if it still had a vibration. If needed, I was going to go ahead and pull off the blade, which I still have the other blade sitting over there that I can always sharpen as needed. But I broke out a little balancer, and stick with me and I'll show you what's wrong with the mower. But I went ahead and broke out. So this is a lawnmower blade balancer. Basically, you stick it on there, and if it sits true, then, you know, as you're looking down on it, if it's bent to one side like that, then obviously one side's heavier than the other. So yeah, I broke that out, and I was gonna pull off the blade and just see if it worked or if it was balanced and such. And I hadn't got to that part because I was going to start it. And as I was starting it, right, I pushed down on the little handle. And as I get to about here, it went ping, down like that. Well, as you can see, it stays, right? Well, the cable broke. So now I need to get, and that's the throttle cable. So it goes down to here, right? Well, it's basically, it's not even a throttle cable, it's a brake, right? It pulls that brake away from your clutch, or the little flywheel that's in there. Okay, it has like a little push pad, and it pulls that away from there and such. And yeah, so that broke, because this handle here is for the front wheels. That's what helps it drive. So yeah, that's no good, because it also pulls this piece away here, because this goes over to your magneto, and that's what kills it, right? So if that's not pulled away, if that's still making connection, I'm never going to be able to start the mower. So yeah, obviously I can always unplug that wire and rig up stuff to pull that little thing away from there to make it work. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get this on order. And can't cut grass today. That's okay. I actually have another project in mind. So since I went ahead and dumped out the trash and stuff out of the back of the truck, I'm going to use the bed of the truck to work on this project, because I really need it. Because I only got one, because the other two are being utilized for something else. So let's jump over here and see what we're going to make. Are you tired of working off the bed of your truck and you want a sawhorse you can work off of? Come follow the journey. One of the last videos, right, showed me bringing all these materials over here, which I don't know, you might be able to see. Already got some of them prepped. I've been prepping over there, and you can see I got my one sawhorse. That's actually an I-beam style sawhorse made from 2x6s, but I want to make another, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a timber frame style, but I'm going to take this one right here. So this is probably one of the worst boards we got that we brought over. So I'm going to cut this up and make a timber frame style sawhorse, but it's going to be more of a post and beam, I guess, because I'm just going to be screwing it together with lag bolts, or lag screws, I guess. Man, that is one crooked board. We'll make it work. So ultimately, I would like this to be the same size as my other sawhorse, which I have mine set to 33 inches, give or take 1/16 or an eighth, right? And not like how I figured that out, because it's really close to even like my anvil height. So if you put your hands down to your side with a closed fist where your knuckles are down to the ground, that's actually a really comfortable working height. And you can even do that too by taking your tape measure, kind of holding it here, so it's going to almost simulate of where the knuckle is, really close to it. So instead of the knuckle, right, I just wrap it to where it has my fingers around there like that, and then go down to the ground. And for me, it's 33. So it's just a nice, comfortable working height. So I'm going to start off by cutting out all the pieces. I'm going to start out with the top. So the length of whatever you want your top to be, that's all dependent on you of what you want, okay? For me, I mean, obviously 36 inches is probably really all you need. But I'm going to go ahead and make it 42, so that's 3.5 feet. And that will be my top. And then for the legs to go down, because I plan on putting my top to where it's 6 inches high, and it's going to be the width. So it's a 4x6, but it's been planed down, right? So 3.5 by 5.5 inches. And then so the height of this, along with the height of a foot, because the foot will be in the same orientation. And then for the legs going up, you're going to have to calculate all those together to figure out how much of a leg you need to cut to get it to the height that your finished height of what you're trying to do. All right, but let me get the top cut out. I'll do those calculations off camera to figure out what I need for my legs, and then what I need for the feet, which your feet should be roughly 2 feet long, give or take, just for a little bit of stability. And you could probably even go down to like 18 inches, but I would not go anything under that. Just personal preference. All right. So let's get this cut out. pieces cut. So got the 2 feet, the top, and the legs. And like I said, this was not going to be a timber frame. This is just bolting these together, but I'm going to be utilizing brackets. Stuff that I already had on hand. It's just a simple L bracket. So let me go grab those and show you what we're going to do. All right, so I got my brackets right here, stuff, and then I'm also going through and I'm cutting out a little section of, this is where the foot is, just so it's more sitting on a pad here. So I just measured 3.5 inches. Basically, it's the same width as the wood, so that'll give me 1 pad. And then this is just a 1 inch. So basically, drew a 45-degree angle, came up 1 inch, drew a line across. Got this side cut. I'm going to come over and do the other side. And obviously, if you're doing this by hand, a lot easier, obviously, to do it by any type of machining. But I'll just show you a couple different ways that you can do this by hand. So I come in here and I just kind of get a little kerf started. Okay. And then go ahead and flip it on the edge. And I have it drawn on both sides. All right, now that I got my kerf done, I just come in here on that kerf, cut right on that line. Try to keep it about a 45 degree. And you're following this kerf down here, but following your line up here. Okay, and you flip it over, do the same thing with the other side. Now you're kind of left with the meat in the middle. So you come back here. Now your saw is going to want to follow that kerf on the other side. It's going to want to follow this kerf on the other side. So just hold your saw really loosely. So if you're going to come up here and do it, you know, in this direction, or you can always lay the wood down. And once it's laid down, you can actually reverse your saw and come into those kerfs, and just holding a really loose saw, basically let it flow upside down. And I'm actually a little higher up than what I'm used to doing this with. And this way actually takes a little bit of practice. But once you get that established, it actually cuts really well. And I'm almost to my lines, and actually, believe it or not, using a traditional sawing horse, not a sawhorse, but a sawing horse, holding your saw reverse like this for rough cutting. You know, if you're following a line and cutting with the grain, obviously not with this type of saw, because this has teeth on both sides. It's made for cutting cross grain, not with your grain. And but using it like that for rough cutting, surprisingly goes really quick. But let me go ahead and throw this back up here, and then I'll just get it finished up, basically down to my lines. There we go. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and get the other one like this, and then I'll show you how I'm gonna get this out. Okay, friends, so I got the other one cut out, and now I'm just gonna take a chisel. Don't judge me by my chisel. This I know it's in bad shape. This one actually needs to be fixed and sharpened. It'd help if I had a bigger chisel. And one of these days I'll get into the blacksmith shop and actually make myself a good set of chisels. And yeah. But I'm just going to score this on both sides down the line. And then I'll flip it back over, and then I'll go a little bit deeper. Each pass on both sides. Essentially breaking out all of this waste here in the middle. Now, can I go through and score this a few times? Sure, why not? You can. But you also got to remember, this is just a sawhorse. It's a working tool. If it has a little bit of imperfections in it, it's not going to be the end of the world. But I do like to make things nice and pretty sometimes, even if it's just a working tool. That's another reason why for the legs I'd actually cut off a section like this, so when the top is sitting on it this way, it will be flush to here, and it's just aesthetically pleasing. Do I need to do that? No. Does it serve a purpose? No. I think it looks good. And one of the reasons why I didn't show y'all me cutting that out. All the tools falling off the back of the truck. That's why I needed another sawhorse. That way I don't have to work off the back of the truck. Actually, I had some nice timber framed sawhorses, and I had to leave them in Virginia. They didn't make the cut. They didn't fit on the trailer. And you also want to look at the end grain, or the end of it too. Like I have one knot right here, and that's gonna be kind of holding this on. These actually might pop off easier. As one thing, if you kind of cut around that knot and then come back and do the knot after the fact. It should have popped off already, just with the amount that I've done. I think that knot's holding it in. Probably gonna have to do the same thing on the other one too. That one's starting to split already. This wood is actually still really, really green. Really wet. And not just from the pressure treatment. There you go. If you really want to go in and clean that up, you can. Don't have to. Just a foot. It sits on the ground. It's a working tool. There we go. Then I'll do the next one, and once I get done with that, I'll be right back. Okay, so I got all of that, basically everything cut up. And now I'm actually going to be utilizing these to attach my brackets. And the reason for is because obviously it has a little bit bigger head. And what that's going to do is allow the post to sit up a little bit. And that'll allow for like water and stuff like that to drain out. Even though it's pressure treated. Just gives it that little extra. Alright, let me go see if I can't find another one. There's one screw short. Okay, I was actually able to find a few more screws. That way I can actually put screws on either side like that. Like that. So now I have both of the legs done. But what I need to do to be able to attach up here is I need to drill some holes down through the top, because I have these long screws like this that I'm going to attach it down, but I need to pre-drill a hole. Alright, so I'm actually going to put in a couple more screws here. And then I think I'll probably even put down a brace. Basically from here down to the leg just to stiffen it up just a hair. But I mean, it's already not going to go anywhere. Let me go ahead and knock those out, and then I'll be right back and you guys see what it looks like as the final product. There we go, y'all. It's all done. It's on rough terrain, so it's going to be a little wobbly over here. But it is nice and sturdy. It definitely worked for what I needed to do. Now, one thing I still got to look at is it the same height as my other sawhorse? Or at least close to it. So let's check it real quick. So to the ground to the top, I'm at 33 3/8. So that additional 3/8 is actually going to be from the head of those screws that I did inside of the metal bracket. That's going to allow for any type of water, you know, to seep out of there instead of sitting in between that joint. But other than screws sticking out of the side over here, which the screws are a little long, I'll get them cut off. So if you can see that, I'm happy. So now that I got 2 sawhorses I can work off of, it's time to get working onto the well house. So stick around. We got a whole lot of work to do. It's greatly appreciated. But tomorrow, I actually have other things to do. Not here on the property, so I guess we'll see y'all whenever we get there. But we definitely appreciate you guys for following the journey. If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, why not? Go ahead and click that subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Right down here in the corner. Whoo, man. Yeah. And you guys can always check us out too. We have another video here, or another playlist here. Greatly appreciated. We also got the subscribes up in the corner for here and to our side channel, the Daily Scuttlebutt with IFF. It's greatly appreciated. And last but not least, remember to always thank a veteran at every chance you get, not only on Veterans Day. And we'll see you on the next one. Later, y'all. Man, I can't talk.